Why did OpenAI raise 58 billion while most startups can't even get a call back from Tier 1 VC? In March 2025, OpenAI closed the largest private funding round in history, 40 billion and 300 billion valuation. Meanwhile, 95% of startups can't even get a call back from the Tier 1 VC. Now, the question is, what separates the billion-dollar winners from the thousands who never make it past the pitch deck? I've analyzed every mega round from 2024 and 2025, and what I'm about to show you the exact framework elite founders use to unlock the Tier 1 capital. There is something called leverage, and here is what most founders don't understand. Tier 1 investors aren't just looking for the good companies, they're hunting for high leverage opportunities. In 2025, AI companies captured nearly 48 of all global venture funding, around 118 billion out of 246. But here is the thing, only 8 companies comprise like 62% of that AI funding. These are like companies like OpenAI, XAI, Anthropic, Scale AI, and others. Why? Because these industries have 3 critical advantages. This is the thing, regulatory moats, high barrier creating defensible position, network effects, products that strengthen with scale, become even more stronger, and global scalability solutions that could be deployed anywhere. Now I'll give some examples, like how would that look like in a fintech, typically regulatory compliance, create massive switching costs. In biotech, it's FDA approvals that are 10-year competitive moat. In AI, that advantages compound exponentially over time. In a clean energy, those are government mandates, they drive guaranteed demand, and so on and so forth. Let's look at some interesting case studies. So XAI's 10 billion round, it's very interesting. Elon Musk raised 5 billion in debt and 5 billion in equity for building one of the world's largest data centers. And that's a physical infrastructure mode. What's the regulatory advantage? Government AI partnership in compute infrastructure. Result, nearly 17 billion total raised in 8 months. Case 2, OpenAI's 40 billion round. It was led by SoftBank at around $300 billion valuation. Key factor, 700 million weekly users and unmatched network effects. Regulatory advantage, 18 billion allocated to Stargate government partnership. And key thing, long-term value of the customer compared to a customer acquisition cost, huge, at least 3 to 1. These margins are at around 90%. Case 3 is US healthcare AI boom. There were 33 US companies in this year that raised more than $100 million. And these are companies like Ambience, Healthcare, Abridge, Open Evidence, and so on. The key factor is a breakthrough, like FDA designations and clinical trial success. So the huge regulatory moat, 5 to 10 year approval process create massive barriers. So what's really a pattern here? Each had regulatory moats, network effects, and global scalability. So now we want to go further in to present what we are really competing with and for. So these are companies that cumulatively have more than $2.5 trillion, like Sequoia, typically focus on technology, AI, and healthcare. Tiger Global, the price check up to $200 million. And recent Horowitz, more than $35 billion, investing in AI, crypto, healthcare, and so on. But you also have a sovereign wealth funds with more than 4 trillion under management, like Saudi, Qatar Investment Authority, Mubadala, and you also have strategic corporates. These are investment arms from Google, Intel Capital, Salesforce Ventures, and so on. So these are the reality. Only in 2024 alone, $200 billion was deployed by some of these, but they're looking for some of these specific patterns. What is your action? It's the pattern that you need to recognize to be interesting for these companies, regulatory modes, network effects, and scalability.